Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, for today we shall embark on a journey to the land of the rising sun. We're going to delve into a time of great turmoil and stagnation, a period known as Japan's lost decade. So, buckle up and grab your snacks, as we unravel the story of Japan's economic roller coaster ride, a tale that holds valuable lessons for our modern society. Our story begins in the late 1980s, where Japan was the envy of the world, with its bustling economy and advanced technology. The Japanese economy was growing at an astonishing rate, and the country had emerged as a significant global player. But, as we all know, what goes up must come down. And in the case of Japan, this fall was not a gentle descent, but a plummet into a dark abyss that lasted for over a decade. The lost decade refers to the period between 1991 and 2001, during which Japan's economy endured a prolonged period of stagnation, marked by low growth, high unemployment, and deflation. But what led to this economic catastrophe? Let's rewind a bit and examine the factors that set the stage for this dramatic turn of events. The 1980s were a time of great prosperity in Japan. The economy was growing at a rapid pace, and the stock market was in a state of euphoria. This economic boom was fueled by several factors, including strong exports, technological advancements, and a stable political environment. However, behind this glittering facade lay the seeds of an impending disaster, which were sown by the Japanese government and its central bank. In an attempt to stimulate economic growth, the Bank of Japan, known as BOJ, kept interest rates extremely low. These low rates resulted in a massive amount of cheap credit flowing into the economy. And when there is cheap credit, there is a party, and, oh boy, did the Japanese love to party. This cheap credit led to a speculative frenzy, with people and companies borrowing vast sums of money to invest in assets such as real estate and stocks. The result? Asset prices skyrocketed, creating an enormous economic bubble. By the peak of the bubble in 1989, the value of the Tokyo Stock Exchange had more than tripled, and the price of land in Tokyo's Ginza district was worth more per square meter than the entire value of some small countries. But, as with all bubbles, this one was destined to burst. And burst it did, with devastating consequences for the Japanese economy. In the early 1990s, the BOJ, realizing the unsustainability of this bubble, decided to raise interest rates. This move triggered a massive sell-off of assets, and the bubble began to deflate rapidly. The stock market crashed, and land prices plummeted. As the value of their investments evaporated, individuals, businesses, and banks found themselves saddled with enormous debt. This debt overhang, combined with the collapse of asset prices, led to a severe credit crunch. Banks, now burdened with massive amounts of bad loans, became extremely cautious in their lending practices. This, in turn, stifled investment and economic growth. And thus, the stage was set for Japan's lost decade. During this period, the Japanese government tried various measures to revive the economy. They implemented fiscal stimulus packages, poured money into public works projects, and even resorted to cutting interest rates to near zero. However, these efforts were largely unsuccessful. A key reason for the failure of these policies was the persistent deflation that plagued Japan during this time. Deflation, which is a general decline in prices, created a vicious cycle that further suppressed economic growth. As prices fell, consumers and businesses delayed spending and investment, anticipating even lower prices in the future. This, in turn, reduced demand for goods and services, causing prices to fall even further. It was a self-reinforcing spiral that the Japanese economy struggled to escape. Now, you might be wondering, why should we care about Japan's lost decade? Well, my friends, the answer is simple: history has a knack for repeating itself, and the lessons from Japan's experience hold valuable insights for our modern world. First and foremost, Japan's lost decade serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of speculative bubbles and the consequences of excessive debt. Economies around the world, including the United States and China, have experienced their own bubbles in recent years. And while the circumstances may be different, the underlying lessons remain the same: unchecked speculation and massive debt can lead to dire consequences. Second, Japan's experience highlights the limitations of traditional monetary and fiscal policy tools in combating deflation and stagnation. Despite the BOJ's aggressive interest rate cuts and the government's fiscal stimulus efforts, Japan struggled to break free from its deflationary trap. This raises important questions about the effectiveness of these policies in addressing similar challenges faced by other countries, such as the ongoing debate about the efficacy of quantitative easing and negative interest rates in Europe. Finally, Japan's lost decade underscores the importance of structural reforms and long-term planning in fostering sustainable economic growth. During this period, Japan's economy was held back not only by its debt overhang and deflation but also by structural issues such as rigid labor markets, inefficient corporate governance, and a lack of innovation. Addressing these structural issues is crucial for promoting long-term growth and preventing future crises. In conclusion, the story of Japan's lost decade is a fascinating and sobering tale of economic hubris, speculative excess, and the devastating consequences that can follow. It serves as a stark reminder of the importance of maintaining financial stability, promoting sustainable growth, and learning from the mistakes of the past. So, as we navigate the complexities of our modern world, let us keep the lessons of Japan's lost decade in mind, and strive to build a brighter future for all.